Hi and welcome. I'm Jules Muller, founder and CEO of Chicks Connect, and we want to welcome all of you to our online social media summit. And we are super excited to have our very first speaker, Crystal Tosh, with us, and all the way from Kentucky. So we want to know more about you, Crystal, and how you got involved with social media. But tell us a little bit about your background first.
Okay, I'm Crystal. I helped found a company called Honest Talk International about, 5 years ago. It was Honest Birth Talk, and then Honest Mom Talk, and then Honest Talk. So it was a journey, and I learned a lot about social media building that company and using the power of community building to really grow impact and reach and help women connect. So that was it's sort of like Chicks Connect, but we focused a lot on motherhood and birth. So I did that. I'm a mom of four, and I have a master's of public health is like my official, went to school for that. And I've been doing the social media thing on my own with Rockstar Social Media for about 9 months now, mostly doing small business consulting.
That is great. Now, have you also done some speaking and training on larger stages?
Yes. So I just got back from Phoenix, like a few weeks ago. I spoke at Ignite Your Success. It was a one-day intensive workshop for baby entrepreneurs, as I like to call them, the ones who are just getting started and fleshing out who their ideal client is and things like that. So I spoke about social media there. And I spoke last year at the Bestie Weekend Getaway, which was a 3-day event in Las Vegas that focused a lot on women and self-care and finding your authentic purpose in life. And so I spoke for 2 days on the stage there in Vegas. So yeah, I've been everywhere.
That is so great. Well, and before I forget, I just want to make sure that if you're watching this live or you're watching this as a recording, if you want Crystal to come to your event or workshop and talk about social media, Crystal, what's the best way that they can reach you in order to do that?
So you can find me on Facebook at Crystal Tosh, and it's Rockstar Social Media. But if you just put in Crystal Tosh, I'll pop up. You can also email me at crystal@rockstarsocialmedia.co, C-O, not com. So
co.com. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, let's dive right in. So what we want to know is, in your experience, what are the biggest challenges that entrepreneurs have as it relates to social media?
okay, so there's 3 really big ones. I feel like whenever people get an idea and they start their new business, they overwhelm their audience with their new idea. They become what I like to say is a salesy weirdo. So they went from being your friend on Facebook to now being the person who's pushing something all the time. So that ratio of personal connection seems to fall off, and people kind of get a little disgusted because we all love social media, but we don't want to be sold. No one wants to be sold. We all buy things, but nobody likes to feel like they're being sold. So that is one struggle. I also see people get really buried in content development. They get overwhelmed trying to come up with content. And so I like to teach people how to connect authentically and then how to repurpose content so that they're not constantly looking for that new content. And another struggle that I think happens is they lose their authentic self sometimes. They don't put who they are on. They kind of put this mask on that is what they think that their customers want instead of just being who they are. So that always seems to happen. It especially happens, I feel like, to women entrepreneurs, especially if you're a mom. Like, you're trying to figure out who you are and build a business, and sometimes you try to please too many people. So
Yes, I can relate to that one. And I seem to be going in a lot of different directions as well. So what advice do you give your clients, and when you go and speak to your audience, what are some of the nuggets or some of the tips that you offer people?
Well, I always tell people that it's not about likes. We all get caught up. Like, if you go to my business page right now, there's probably less than 200 likes, but I have clients. So it's not about likes and followers. You really want to create that authentic engagement and connection. Yes, those are important things and you will grow to there, but if you can really get to know people on a personal level and connect with them authentically, obviously people want to buy from who they know, like, and trust. So you really want to concentrate on building that relationship. I also tell people, if you think you can keep your business completely separate from your personal life, you really can't. If you're trying to build an authentic relationship, they want to know who you are. They want to know what your kiddo's struggling with, or what you're going through, or what struggles you've had in your life, because that's how we connect these days, is a lot of just being honest about things. That's sort of like what I did with Honest Talk, is I talked a lot about my struggles as a twin mom, and you're a twin mom, Jules. So it all grew out of me hashtagging Honest Mom Talk. And it was, everything that I've ever built has been on being authentic, and it takes time, and it takes coaching. I feel like you have to have someone in your corner going, it's okay, I have the mug for that too, and my life is a hot mess too, so that you all connect that way. Another thing that I do is the content creation. There are a lot of programs out there, and it gets overwhelming to know which one to spend your money on, and so I help my clients pick out a content strategy and deliver that content through a platform usually. I focus a lot of my business is on Facebook and LinkedIn use. I know we've got someone on here that's a hashtag guru and a Instagram guru, and I love Instagram, but it's not totally my jam. I think my authenticity coaching obviously goes to Instagram, but using live video is something on LinkedIn and Facebook that I really focus on.
So as far as the live video, though, I want to interject this. How do you coach people around the fear of video, and especially live? Because, you know, we're live right now. I might say something or stumble or, you know, do something inappropriate. I don't know, you know, so how do you help them get past that fear?
So we do a little workshopping together, and I also always tell people that there's a strategy to live video. I mean, you can make a live video that's showing someone your backyard and very casual, or you can do something that's more a call to action, I call it. So you can teach on a certain topic really quick and drop your words of advice, and you can always ask your audience, if you'd like more info, comment below with a certain word, and you can send them your little tidbit sheet. And it's a great way for you to get to talking to those people, because it's creating interaction. But we've all been there with the whole speaking in front of people thing. So it just takes practice, and it takes someone believing in you. And also, if you stumble on your words, I always tell my clients, you just made the person who is watching you relate to you more, because they know you're not perfect. They're not putting you in this box where they're like, I can't even achieve what she is. Especially if you sell a service or something, you want your audience to be able to be like, oh, I could be that girl, you know, that. Because when we put people up in these pedestals, we feel like we can't obtain what they have. So it just makes you relatable.
Great, great. Now, what other services and products do you offer clients? We know that you speak at events and workshops. So what are some other things that you offer?
So I have one-on-one coaching, and that's kind of most of my business right now. I just have individual businesses hire me to either manage their content for them, or to coach them on how to develop those relationships and use social media strategically. But some exciting news, I've been working with one of my very best friends who's in the tech side. So I'm more on the how to build relationships online, and he's like the SEO. He knows Facebook ads, he knows all those little things, and we have put a course together. So we have a 6-week course, a 12-week course, and a 24-week course. And the 24-week one is my favorite because it's weekly coaching calls along with dripped content. So you basically have someone holding your hand through it all, and we're covering everything from brand development and how to connect authentically to the tidbits of very technical things that you can learn from him. So it's kind of a social media course that's not even out there, because you kind of get one or the other usually. So I'm really excited about that, and we're launching that in a few weeks. So that's
Great, great. So tell the audience what the drip content means. What does that mean exactly? Is that something, and then when you say you do it for people, do you physically go into their accounts and type it for them? Because a lot of, I find that a lot of our gurus talk about what you need to do on social media, but we still have some people that don't even know how to do it, like how to physically post something, where
right.
to put it, how to share it, how to make sure that everyone can see it.
Right, and probably not even how to, use it strategically as in scheduling, knowing when your audience is online.
Right.
So that's all things that we cover in our social media course, because Hunter is my tech guy, so he can really teach everyone how to um, see where your audience when they're most likely online. Like moms are online in the evenings after the kids are in bed. They're usually scrolling, and that's when they have time. So that's a great time to put out ads or to do a Facebook Live or schedule something then. But yeah, it's more about learning both sides of it. So I would say that it's something social media management is where I go in and I do it for you. You hire me to just be your social media person, and I post like I'm you and your business. That is not something that I recommend for everyone, because you're basically handing over your brand to someone else. And if you're a big company like Nestle or something, then we know what they sell and they're social media managers. But if you're a baby entrepreneur trying to get your name out there, I'm not going to represent you quite like you will. So it just depends on what type of company you have. I manage local brick and mortar businesses like coffee shops and things like that, where I schedule their content and I write it and I come up with it. But then I coach businesses that are more trying to build a brand in themselves. So yeah, there's two different sides to it.
Right, right. Now, you mentioned a little bit earlier the best way to reach you. If you could tell us that again, in case we have people that have just hopped on. So what's the best way to
Absolutely.
reach out to you?
So my email is crystal@rockstarsocialmedia.co, not com, .co. You can find me on Facebook at Crystal Tosh, and I'll pop up as a business page, and it'll say Crystal Tosh Rockstar Social Media. You can connect with me there, and I can get you on a list, like I said, where we're going to launch this course in a couple of weeks. And we have 3 different offerings for it. So if you're just getting started and you need to get your feet wet, we've got that, all the way to I need my hand held through everything. So the other thing we're going to focus a lot on in this course, and I want to touch on it really quick, is the power of Facebook groups. So there's a lot of ins and outs of Facebook groups, and I'm sure Jules knows a lot about it, but there is a lot of connection that can happen in a group that you can't get in other places. So learning to use that strategically can really grow your reach and your engagement.
So what's your advice to someone if they're ready to take action after today and they want to start a group, because that's the big nugget that they took away from you? What's your advice to them right now? Like, what are the 3 steps that they should do to get going with that?
Come up with a catchy name and search it. Make sure that there's not a lot of groups that have that name or resemble that name. Also, you want to be very clear about who you're trying to put in that group. Is it going to be a free group where you offer advice about your product or service? Is it going to be more of a group where you're connecting people, like-minded people, whether it be because of motherhood or twin mom or whatever it is that you're trying to connect? So be very clear about that, and also sit down with a pen and paper and think about the rules for your community. It's really important to not just create this group that's going to become a spammy group. There's a lot of connection that can happen in a group, but if you have some bad seeds, it can ruin a group. So you have to be very specific about who you let in if you're trying to build a community. If you're just trying to funnel people in to connect with, to sell them a service, it's less important. But if you are trying to build a community, I would definitely recommend making your group where you have to ask to join, and they have to fill out these questions. So start getting clear about what you want before you just immediately set up that group.
And I noticed that when I put we just started using the questions for the groups. So, are you a member of Chicks Connect, or do you live in Las Vegas, and it's great to find out that info. And then we also asked for their email so that we can send them more information. So, and people have been really forthcoming with their email, which surprises me. You know, they really do want the information. So, so that's great. The groups, I love the groups.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know
group.
that I work them well, but I love them.
No, you're doing great. I think that's so important. It's a good way to start building your list, as everybody calls it,
Mhm.
but without being like, can I please get your email? Or you see that a lot on Facebook posts, you know, drop your email below, but most people don't want to do that. But the group is a way they're already answering questions. So they're just really forthcoming with their email anyway. And you can put a little disclosure in there that you'll be added to a newsletter list or whatever.
Right.
I try to let them know. But people are already in that mindset of I'm giving information about myself. And it's so standard now to give an email. I mean, when you go to Old Navy, they ask for your email. You can't get away from it. So people are become very forthcoming with that. And then that way you have a way to contact them, because we love social media, but Facebook could up and close down tomorrow. And then if you've built your entire community online and you have no other way to reach them, you've just lost everyone. So it's really important to have a way to contact people off of social media as well.
Well, I just thought of another question. I didn't give you this one ahead of time, so if you want to pass on it, that's okay. But I'm just wondering if you can think of kind of the best social media story you have. Like, how did social media help you, either personally or professionally, in a profound way, or just the most impactful way?
The most impactful way is I built this online community with Honest Mom Talk, and it grew to the hundreds, all because I was being very honest about my own struggles, and I felt very alone. But I felt like there's got to be other women out there, because what I was seeing on social media about motherhood was I wasn't good enough, because like this mom sits on the floor for 3 hours and plays with her kid, and you're a horrible mom if you read this blog and you're playing on your phone, and they're at, you know, the park. So I started being very honest. And now, even years later, I've moved back to my hometown, and those women who connected with me, who never messaged me or who never that I didn't know I was impacting, come up to me and go, your laundry pile got me through the day. Like, you being honest, because you look like you had it all together, and I always felt bad about myself, but you were so honest that it made me feel not alone. And so that impacted me, that my struggles, you never know who you're impacting. And your mountain may be someone else's light, like, just to know to keep going. So that is the power of community and social media, and authenticity. So that's what it taught me.
Yay, I'm glad I asked that question. Okay, before we open it up to all the participants and questions that they have, tell us if there's anything else more that you want to share.
Oh gosh, there's so much, but I don't really know. I'm just going to be honest. I've been through a journey myself, and it's been kind of crazy, because I've had to put the brakes on a lot of things and a lot of ideas that I have for my own business. And, you know, these speaking events, I've had to turn down some. So it's kind of, if you're going through transition and you're a woman and you're building a business, you just really have to listen to yourself and know when you need to pull back. And it doesn't mean that you won't be able to move forward in the future, or you won't, you know, you're not saying no, you're just saying, I need a minute. And I think that's important. It really has nothing to do with social media. It has more to do with just women in business, and knowing yourself and being honest with yourself, which has been hard for me, because I'm such a overachiever, like keep going. And I just said, I can't, you know, I had to turn down a couple of things because I'm maxed out, and that's okay.
And that's okay. Well, we sure appreciate you being here with us today. And I want to open it up to anyone that has questions for Crystal. So let's figure out the best way. There is a little chat. So for those of you on the call, there's a chat bubble so that we don't talk over each other. It's on my screen, it's at the bottom. Is it the same for all of you?
Yeah, at the bottom? If you're on the phone, I think it's, I don't remember. Yeah, it's on the bottom. It's the little bubble. If you're
so if you just click that and say me or something, I'll call on you. We can unmute you and you can ask your question. We have plenty of time, or just state a challenge, and maybe Crystal can help us with that challenge that you might have.
I'll be happy to give some advice if there's a specific challenge you have about something. If you're wondering, how to create engagement and the ratio for posting. I can get into that. I mean, there's a lot of different things we can talk about, and there's no silly questions, I promise. Like, if you just need to know how to go live, I can teach you that too. So.
Well, let's have you talk about the engagement. Like you mentioned about definitely being authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, my head is spinning, a million miles an hour. And every once in a while, I'll grab a thought and I'll throw it out there.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know if this is going to offend someone or someone's going to think I'm stupid. I mean, there's all these questions and all of this uncertainty that goes on in my mind. And then I'm just like, you know what? This is who I am. And if someone doesn't like it, I guess I don't really want them following me anyway. So I want but what advice do you have to someone who may have a brain like mine that's all over the place?
I would just say that you want the people who want you. I mean, you can't be a people pleaser and try to please everyone, because then you're pleasing no one, including yourself. And a perfect example is, I look like this in Western Kentucky. I have shaved on both sides of my head. I have a mohawk, I have my nose pierced. I'm a little more edgy. I'm outspoken. This is who I am, though, and this is who I take to speaking events. And you either like me or you don't, and that's okay, because I'm not for everyone, and chances are if I'm not for you, someone else is. There's lots of people who teach social media, there's lots of people who do a lot of things, but people are drawn to people they connect with. So you want the people who want you. And I mean, it's just like network marketing, right? We all know someone who does something, and there might be someone on here, but what makes you the different rep of that company? It's not your product, because it's all the same. So who am I going to buy it from? I'm going to buy it from the person that I feel like I connect with on a personal level. So it may be scary to be who you really are. I think that a lot of times people don't even know who they really are. So it's discovering who you really are and then letting it out there, because once you get in line with your kind of authentic self and purpose, doors start opening and people start coming to you. It's less resistance. And that's something that's really important in business and in just community building and connecting, is if you are who you are, you will connect authentically and the doors will open, and you won't be swimming upstream trying to convince everyone that you're so great. You're just going to be with the people who get you. So
perfect advice. All right, other questions for Crystal?
Anybody?
Anybody? Looks like I don't know if they can find it. Just unmute yourself if you can't find the chat box if you have a question.
I have a question.
Yes, Nancy.
I'm one of these people who over contents.
Okay.
My Facebook page is called History Connections Oregon.
Okay.
And I am using it improperly.
Okay.
And I don't know that I really started thinking about this because it doesn't work for me.
Okay.
I know how to engage. I don't like to do it, and I don't want to do it.
Okay.
What I really want to do is to, how do I say this? Provide information. I wrote a history snippet column for our local newspaper for 5 years, and I am moving away from that.
Okay.
And I find myself putting on my Facebook page a lot more information than what I think people are reading or want to read. They'll look at the picture, at least this is my sense of what's happening, and I like the photo, but they're not engaging or commenting on the content, even though there's a question about to get them to engage.
Okay.
So
your struggle is so here's another thing about Facebook is algorithms. So you may have a lot of people who've liked your page and they're just not seeing your post. And it's because if something doesn't get commented on or engaged with, it kind of gets buried in all of our feeds. So I would recommend to you, if it's a specific, very niche market, is using a Facebook group so that the engagement algorithm isn't quite as high, and the people in the group are actually going to be able to see and engage with you. If you're trying to drive exposure to this specific page, you may want to try to do a more of an 80-20 balance. So I always tell people you want to even find things that are funny and trending and that may not really have anything to do with what you're teaching about, but could drive a lot of engagement, like even if it's like the ha-ha face and things like that. So the next thing that you post, if it's a question that you have or something about what you're trying to influence or teach about, more people are going to see it. So that's kind of fighting that algorithm.
So what I think what you're saying, maybe some of the stuff that I'm putting on my personal page, I should put on my history page, because it's just wacky, crazy. This event, you know, I mean, exactly. I don't really need a personal page.
Yeah, I absolutely, because then they're also going to get to know you. What makes you laugh? What'd you find funny? I mean, I shared once a video of a woman coming out of a Target, and she was pushing a cart, and she hit the end and she rolled over the cart. It's the funniest video I've ever seen in my life. And it was shared and it went viral, but I also rode that trend and put it on my page, and it was like wildfire. So then the next thing I posted kind of later on that afternoon, it got lots of views because there was so much engagement on my page from that. So, I mean, it doesn't have to specifically do with what you, I mean, I shared to a coffee shop that I manage, I shared a letterboard, just picture of a letterboard that said, it's that time of year, you know, everyone's wearing flannel and I look like a lumberjack or whatever. It was something kind of funny that a mom would say about not being able to be on trend. And the coffee shop received 37 shares of that photo. It had nothing to do with her coffee shop, but guess who was always at the top? It was her name for her coffee shop. So she got a lot more likes on her page. So more exposure.
Does that sound good, Nancy?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hopefully it's helpful.
It would save time too.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Absolutely. I would say if you guys are trying to schedule posts, I'll just tell you what I use. It's no big secret. It's called Smarter Queue. And you can use that to post to schedule all your content. It's how I manage multiple accounts. But you can use it personally for you to schedule your Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram posts, so that I have content planning days usually. And I try and sit down and do that. And right now, I spend all my time managing content for clients and not on my own page. So it's just one of those things.
That's how it goes. Yeah, yeah. And you said Smarter Queue?
Yep, Smarter
Okay.
Queue.
And is there a fee for that?
There's different levels. The first level is free, and then if you're a social media management company, you can get more features. Another thing for content, I don't know how many bloggers we have. I'm not a big blogger. I'm more of a talker. So if you're like me, but you want
I would rather blog.
You'd rather blog? Oh, bless you.
I'd rather blog than do Facebook.
Yeah.
It's in my DNA.
Then you could
yes. Anyway.
Your links to your blogs on your Facebook, and you could make like a little video like, hey, I wrote a blog about blah, blah, blah. And that little tiny video will push your blog that'll be linked into more people's feed, because live video is favored by the algorithm. So anything that is live will automatically push into more feeds than anything else. It's like live video, pictures, and then a regular post. So if you just make regular posts, it's probably not being seen by many people. But I was going to say, if you do talk a lot and you want some written content, there's rev.com. You can make a video on your phone, and for $1 a minute, it's transcribed for you, and they email it back in 24 hours.
Okay.
Great.
So
I'll write down these resources too. I'll type them in the notes.
Okay, perfect.
Crystal, are you saying that just putting up a picture with a caption or doing a video and then driving people to a blog site or my website.
Yes.
Okay.
Video. Absolutely video. It
Video
doesn't
is,
have to be perfect.
I know.
It can be just basic. And
I
that
was,
video will
I
help.
was one of those people that didn't want to do the video because I was afraid of that. And Leslie Aiken and I did want to promote something last year, and it was fine, and it was fun, and I thought, I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah, when I used to make weekly videos before I got so busy that fell off. You can buy a ring light on and a stand on Amazon, and that makes the video a great quality, and it holds your phone, and the lighting's always great. You look beautiful, and so then you're less self-conscious about your videos too. And it's like a $50 investment. They also make little ring lights that you can put on your phone, like little ones. So if you're at an event or you're just in your car, like right now, you can turn it on, and like I am right now, and it helps lighten you up.
Can you tell us a little bit? I know because I follow you. I see that you're always on top of my, in this little scroll, and they're called stories. So can you talk a little bit about the stories and
yes, I don't
technically how you do it, as well as like, aren't you upset that stuff disappears? Like, that's my thought. Like, I did it and then it's gone.
So stories are the wave of the future. It's the way you let people into your everyday life, and people can go there specifically and see your whole day. So they're powerful because, again, you're fighting the algorithm on regular posts, but on stories, if someone goes to your story, they can see every story that you've made. And they do disappear. It's a lot like Snapchat. They disappear in 24 hours. And so I try to just make posts throughout the day about what I'm doing, what I'm drinking, what I'm eating, crazy hair day, whatever it is. I'm kind of documenting it on my story. So the technical side of it is you would go to the top of if you're on the mobile app, you go to the top of the mobile app, like you're going to make a Facebook post, and there's a little plus button, and it's like in a circle, and you click that, and you can do selfies. You can type something, and the fun thing is you can add all the pretty things. You can add words to it. You can add a sticker.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. You said go, because I have my phone and I want to get one of you. So give me the directions.
So just scroll all the way to the top where it gives you the option to make a Facebook post, right? And then you should have the stories should be going across the top.
What's on your mind? Timeline, life event.
Right above that should be like a little plus with a circle, and you should probably see other people's stories going on. Do you see that?
I should go home then, not my. Okay, there I am. I'm at home. I see other people's stories.
Okay, so there should be a plus button next to their stories. Do you see that?
Plus. Oh yeah. Yep. Add to my story.
How do you make a story?
Okay, I don't want a selfie. I want to turn it around to you. So
should be a thing at the very bottom that lets you flip the camera. It kind of looks like that little arrow.
So, there it is. Okay. And there's you. All right.
Way to go, Jules.
Okay. Oh my gosh. And I'm giving her some hearts, and she has and a cute face. Okay. Shared a story. Oh my gosh. So you guys can all go and look at my story now. And there she is. Oh, how fun. Okay. But no, Nancy had a really good point. She said, who cares? Well, what you're drinking and stuff like that. But Nancy, let me tell you though, the thing that is so powerful, you probably cannot see this, but every time I open Facebook, Crystal is there. Lynn Reynolds is there. Tess Booker is there. Val Nichols is there. Lynette Molina is there. These people are top of mind all the time to me because they are right at the top of my app. So, if you did the same thing, when people open up their phone, you are going to be the first thing they see. It defies all posts. I mean, you are up top. It's pretty fantastic. I mean, if you want to be up top. So I just need to get used to doing it.
The post doesn't necessarily have to be personal, though. It could be something that I don't want my personal stuff on Facebook, but I'm certainly willing to put I read something during the day, or I see something, or just a post of some kind. Is that, I think,
and you can,
what you're saying, right?
Right. And you can even type, like, and it'll just be like, it'll be almost like a Facebook post, but it'll be in your story, like a quote or something you read. You could, you know, put it on there. And then, like you said, you can put a picture, and then you can put a little text box over the picture, and you can create as many stories as you want. I have a friend who's one of the top earners in Rodan and Fields, and she's a story fanatic, and she has her workout in the morning, her smoothie, then she'll have a post about Rodan and Fields, then she'll have a success story, and then, I mean, it's just, she has lots of stories. I usually do a few a day, but her stories, when you open it up, you can see how many someone has. They're like little check marks at the top, kind of. They're like little dashes, and there's just dashes all the way across hers. And she's always top of mind, because when I open my app, she's one of the first ones I see. So Stories is also on Instagram. They have that feature. And so it's just a new way. People really like to see your everyday stuff. So.
And like you say, it doesn't have to be a picture of your face.
No.
It could just be of what you're looking at. Like, oh, here's the bird this morning, you know, and you can put a funny emoji by it. But then when someone clicks on a story, it just plays for them and then kind of disappears. And then it goes to the next person. I mean, it's pretty, this is going to be my goal, is I'm going to work on the stories. I'm going to commit to do them behind the scenes, and making mistakes as I go through and do this, and I'll, you know, accept feedback and things like that. But Greta, are you on? Can you unmute and tell us a little bit about how you use the stories? Greta's an artist. Are you there? There she is.
Hey, yes. I love stories. I would like to add, if you are on Instagram, I found that the text that you add on top of, say, an image, you can do more to edit the text and have it come across the way that you would like it to.
Yep. Instagram has a lot of editing tools.
Yes, but much more sophisticated for their text editing. And I like to, there's also an option with a download. So when you're done with a story, you can save it to your phone and have it for later.
You can do that on Facebook too. You can archive your stories and keep them. So that's something else you can do. You can make those boomerangs, which people seem to like, where you're like doing this and you know, it's more like just having fun and showing the behind the scenes, like you said, Jules. People really want to see that. For whatever reason, we're all voyeurs now. We all want to know what everybody's doing. So.
How long are the stories up for, did you say?
24 hours. And then poof, they're gone.
And they disappear, but they do not disappear from Facebook. So if you're posting something and you think, oh, well, no one will ever have that, you know, it's gone now. Nothing is ever really gone. So just so y'all know.
Somewhere on Facebook.
It's somewhere. Yeah. So if you're running for office, they can show up. So
all come back.
always be.
Do you have to make a concerted effort to archive them, or do they automatically archive?
No, you have to archive them if you want to keep them and be able to view them again. Otherwise, they just kind of poof, go away. But somewhere on Facebook Land's server, they will be there at some point if somebody wanted to dig them up from you. But that's about it.
So, Greta, can you tell us how people can find you on Facebook? Would you spell out your information for us and tell us what your particular art is, because I find it fascinating.
Sure. My Facebook is Layerfied, LAYERFIED Designs. And what I do is create 3D models that can be 3D printed.
Ooh.
And I like to showcase my what I do through jewelry, because everywhere I go, I can be wearing an example of what I'm doing.
It's really beautiful. So I encourage all of you to go look at what she has created from the 3D printing world. It's pretty fantastic. Awesome. Well, thanks for being here today. All right. Who else has a question for Crystal? I think everyone on this call should make it a goal to do a story today. Multiple stories, like 3. I think we should do 3. Like, well, I'll do one for each of the interviews today.
That'll be good.
Yeah, if I can remember what I just did. But
there's another way to do stories too. Do you guys all have the Messenger app, the Facebook Messenger app?
Yes.
You can do a story from your Messenger app.
Okay, so how do you do that?
Open your Messenger app, and at the top of it, you should be able to add a story. Add to your story.
All right. There we are again, adding to stories. Oh, cute. Your story.
Yeah. So if you are doing, if you do it from Facebook and you do a selfie, there's actual filters called Glow, and they make you look beautiful. But if you're doing it from your Messenger app, those filters aren't available, just so you know. So if you want to look extra beautiful in your selfie, use your Facebook app.
I just don't ever want to do selfies is my problem. Yeah, that's how do you get over, I know one of our other speakers talked about the importance of doing selfies, and
yes,
I just don't, how do you coach people on that? Like, I don't know. Am I selfie conscious?
You're selfie conscious. Yeah, you just have to embrace it. And I won't lie, I've used the Glow filter before because it was like 7 in the morning and I looked like crap, so I wanted to feel all beautiful and use it. There's like glow and warm and cool, so it gives you kind of this like airbrushed effect. But I'm not a big filter girl. There's a lot of people who really use filters a lot. I actually edit most of my photos in Lightroom and then post them that way. But it's fun sometimes though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've done the ones that put hats on you and stuff with my kids because they think that's super fun.
Yeah. All right, so let's see, we have Greta. There are people who post very sophisticated fun filters on Instagram too. Okay, you have to follow their account to access the filters. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, well, let me check on our time. We have a few minutes left if we have anyone that has a burning question that they'd like to ask or a comment. Just unmute yourself. We'd love to hear your comments as well. Crystal, we appreciate you so much. We know that you're sneaking away from your job there, so we appreciate that. Let's see, Robin says filters to enhance are not authentic. Yeah, right. So
that's why I don't really use them that often. I mean, it's pretty much if I'm on there, I'm me. So it just depends on what you want. I think that authentic connection also just comes in what you're saying and how you connect with people. I always tell people, don't be the salesy weirdo who the minute I friend you sends me a message that's like, hey, it's so
hey girl.
Hey girl. So this is what I'm doing. And I'm like, you have no idea what I'm doing. I actually had someone connect with me and ask me if I needed help learning how to use social media to sell my course. And I was like, well, you didn't read very far into me. So we'll just go ahead and delete that. So,
yeah.
Yeah, and LinkedIn, unfortunately, is becoming that way. I used to just love LinkedIn, and now I feel like every time I add someone on LinkedIn, they blow up my messages with buy my stuff. So I'm like, you should get with me so we can learn how to authentically talk to each other before you try to sell me.
Right. I had, well, I won't go into that story, but it was, men and women sometimes do connection differently.
Yes, that is
very true. But I was bold enough to, at the end of the connection, when the man said goodbye, I was like, oh, are you sure we're finished with this conversation? And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I said, I'm not quite sure you know anything about me. This whole thing was about you. We were supposed to be connecting and learning about what each other does. You didn't ask me one question about what I do. How are you going to be able to refer to me? It's like, I just spent 20 minutes listening to your whole thing and encouraging you and, but I just thought, and he was, he was kind of floored. And I was like, how many other people has he done that to where it's been all about him? And so I felt a little empowered that I at least said something, and but I wasn't interested in I did the one lesson, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. But
Right.
But it
Yeah.
was
No, good for
interesting.
you. That's what I try to teach people is it can't be all about you. You've got to get to know your audience and your potential clients and really invest in them. And, you know, they may not be a client today, but if you show them who you are and they know what you do and you stay top of mind when they do need you, guess who they're going to call? So.
That's right. That's right. Well, Crystal, thank you so much. Last chance. Do we have anyone else for final comments or questions?
Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone. So
I've been story enlightened.
yay!
Thank you.
Nancy's going to be showing up on top of my stories now.
I am. My goal, Jules.
Yay! Go, Nancy.
That's all right. And we have a couple of comments here. We have thanks from Greta, and we have, yes, awesome. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to connecting with you.
Wonderful. And if you are watching the recording, remember you can find Crystal on Facebook, and she is open for speaking engagements, as well as has 3 programs coming out. And I'm sure we'll share those in the newsletter, as well as all over social media and in our stories and everywhere else. So we're excited to help Crystal promote everything that she's doing in the world. And then also, for those of you that are watching this recording or on live with us right now, if you are not members of Chicks Connect and want to know more about Chicks Connect, please ask during any of the question sessions or visit chicksconnect.com. That's ChicksConnect.com. And you can find me, Jules Muller, on Facebook and a variety of other social media platforms that I have not mastered, but I seem to be out there just throwing stuff out to see what sticks.
It's okay. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. And for those of you that would like to stay on for the remainder of the social media summit, we will end this recording right now, and there will be a little intermission. You're welcome to stay on the platform. And then we'll be right back with our next speaker.